The Gilded Age Season 4 is officially on its way in 2026, and even though the full trailer hasn't revealed everything yet, what we do know is already enough to raise some serious questions. The tone feels different this time. It's heavier, more intense, and honestly, a lot more personal for every character involved. Last season ended with so many unresolved tensions, especially between Bertha and George, and it doesn't look like things are getting better anytime soon. If anything, they're getting worse. From the early glimpses and updates, it's clear that Bertha is not slowing down. She made bold moves in Season 3, especially when she decided to challenge society's rules, and now Season 4 is going to deal with the consequences of that. And let's be real, when Bertha makes a move, it's never small. It always comes with a cost. The biggest question right now is, how much is she willing to lose just to stay on top? At the same time, George is no longer the same man we saw before. There's a shift in his attitude, and it feels like he's starting to question everything around him, including his marriage. Their relationship has always been strong, but now there's this emotional distance that can't be ignored. And if both of them keep going in opposite directions, then Season 4 might finally push them to a breaking point. But it's not just about Bertha and George. The entire world around them is changing. Society is evolving, people are stepping out of their roles, and the rules that once controlled everything are starting to break. That's what makes this season so interesting. It's not just drama for the sake of drama, it actually feels like a turning point for the entire story. And then there's the trailer hints about consequences. That word keeps coming up again and again, and it's not a good sign for anyone. Because in this show, consequences don't come quietly. They hit hard, and they change everything. Now let's talk about the trailer hints, and what they reveal about the upcoming drama, because even the smallest details feel important this time. One thing that stands out immediately is how isolated Bertha looks. In previous seasons, she was always in control, always surrounded by people, always one step ahead. But now, there's this feeling that she might be standing alone, even after everything she has built. And that's honestly the most dangerous place for someone like her to be. The power shift is real. Season 4 is not just about climbing higher anymore, it's about holding on to what you already have. Bertha fought hard to enter high society, and then to dominate it, but now there are people waiting for her to slip. And you already know Agnes van Rijn is not going to sit quietly. If there's even the smallest chance to take back control, she's going to grab it. That rivalry is far from over, and this time, it feels more personal than ever. At the same time, George seems to be stepping into a different role. Instead of just supporting Bertha's ambitions, he might start focusing on his own priorities. And that's where things get complicated. Because if George stops backing Bertha the way he used to, then everything she built could start falling apart. Their partnership was always their biggest strength, and if that cracks, then it changes the entire game. And let's not ignore the emotional tension building between them. It's not loud, it's not explosive, but it's there. You can feel it. The kind of silence that says more than words ever could. And sometimes, that's even worse than a fight. Because it means something deeper is breaking underneath. What makes all of this even more intense is the timing. Season 4 is happening at a moment where every character is being forced to choose a side, whether they want to or not. Loyalty is going to be tested, alliances might shift, and not everyone is going to come out of this the same. Now let's shift focus to the younger characters, because Season 4 is clearly setting them up for some major turning points. Starting with Marion, her journey feels like it's finally about to change in a big way. The trailer hints that she's stepping into something new, something more meaningful, and honestly, it makes sense after everything she went through. She's no longer the same girl who was just trying to fit into society. Now, it feels like she actually wants something for herself. And if you think about what happened before, especially when she helped save George, it might have sparked something inside her. That moment wasn't just random. It showed a different side of Marion, someone calm, capable, and actually passionate about helping others. So Season 4 could explore that path even more. Maybe she starts chasing a purpose instead of just following expectations. But the real question is, will society even allow her to do that? And then, of course, there's Larry. Their relationship has been stuck in this frustrating place for a while now. There's clearly feelings there, but at the same time, there's hesitation, mistakes, and a lot of unfinished business. And let's be honest, Larry hasn't exactly handled things well. He keeps holding back, and that's been slowing everything down. But season 4 might finally force him to make a decision. Because Marion is changing. She's growing, she's becoming more independent, and she might not wait forever. If Larry doesn't step up this time, he could actually lose her. And that's what makes their storyline so interesting right now. It's not just about romance anymore, it's about timing, growth, and whether they can actually meet each other halfway. At the same time, Peggy's story is also moving into a more complicated space. The trailer suggests that her relationship is going to face serious challenges, especially when it comes to acceptance. She's trying to build a future, but not everyone around her is on board. And that creates this constant pressure that doesn't just go away. So while the older generation is fighting for power, the younger generation is fighting for their future. And in season 4, both battles are going to collide. And then we have the relationships that don't always get the spotlight, but somehow end up being the most real and emotional ones. Because season 4 is not just about power and status, it's also about love, loyalty, and the quiet struggles that people don't always talk about. One of the biggest examples of that is Peggy's relationship, which is heading into a very complicated phase. From what we know so far, Peggy is going to face serious challenges when it comes to being accepted by her future in-laws. And this isn't something simple that gets resolved in one conversation. It's deeper than that. It's about respect, background, and the kind of barriers that don't just disappear overnight. Peggy has always been strong, but this situation is different. It's more personal, and it's going to test her patience in ways we haven't seen before. At the same time, her partner continues to stand by her, which is honestly one of the most solid things in the show right now. He's not backing down, he's not letting outside opinions control his decisions, and that kind of support is rare in this world. But even with that, the pressure from family can still create cracks. And season 4 might explore just how much pressure a relationship can take before it starts to break. Then there are the quieter storylines, like John and Bridget. They may not be at the center of all the drama, but their story brings something different to the table. It's softer, more genuine, and honestly refreshing compared to all the chaos happening around them. Their connection has been building slowly, and now it feels like season 4 might finally give them the space to grow. But even these lighter relationships aren't completely safe. Because in a world where status and expectations control everything, even the simplest kind of happiness can become complicated. That's what makes this season feel so unpredictable. No relationship is fully secure, no matter how strong it seems. And that's the pattern we're starting to see, whether it's power, love, or family, everything is being tested. Now let's talk about the release date and what we can realistically expect, because this is where things get even more interesting. HBO has already confirmed that the Gilded Age Season 4 is coming in 2026, and that alone tells us something important. They're taking their time with this season, and that usually means one thing: it's going to be bigger than anything we've seen before. The early trailer hints don't reveal too much, but they don't need to. The tone already says everything. This isn't just another continuation of the story, it feels like a major turning point. The kind of season where decisions actually have long-term consequences, where characters are forced to face the results of everything they've done so far. And if you look at where every storyline is heading, it all connects back to one idea: change. Bertha is fighting to hold on to her power, George is starting to question everything, Marion is searching for her own path, and Peggy is trying to build a future in a world that keeps pushing back. Everyone is moving forward, but not necessarily in the same direction. That's what makes season 4 feel so unpredictable. Because when everyone wants something different, conflict is inevitable. And in this show, conflict doesn't stay small. It grows, it spreads, and it changes people. So when the full trailer finally drops, don't expect simple answers. Expect more questions, more tension, and moments that completely shift the story. Because if there's one thing the Gilded Age does well, it's building up to something that actually matters. And by the time season 4 arrives in 2026, we might not just be watching another chapter, we might be watching the moment where everything changes for good. So now I have to ask, are you ready for what's coming, or do you think this season is going to break some of your favorite characters?